Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of everyone's favorite show, I Can't Comedy, here at the wonderful Willimantic Records.
Yay.
You can applaud, yeah. Just to prove that there's an audience.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, thank you. We're hosts, Brian Barganier, Clancy, and Rodney Norman. We are three comedians, all doing comedy, varying different amounts of time. We like to listen to old comedy records here at Willimantic Records and just kind of see, do the jokes stand the test of time, and is comedy timeless? We've done Gallagher so far, and then the last episode we did Eddie Murphy's Comedian was the second one, and now this third one we're going to be doing here is a very special episode. We got George Carlin's Class Clown. How do you guys feel about George Carlin? Are you guys fans of Carlin?
I'm a big fan of George Carlin. I always have been, even though I don't always, agree with everything he says. But it's always something funny, interesting, controversial. He's always willing to, poke the bear and stab the sacred cows, if you will. So no, I love it.
I can agree with that. Like, I always say, like, he was always more true than funny, especially with his specials later on in life, because that's where I got to see him. Was like, I didn't see the early shit, obviously, and like
the hippy-dippy. You never saw the hippy-dippy weatherman?
Well, no, not until like later, like on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anything like that, but like,
He was the conductor on was it Thomas? What was that?
Alice Sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alice Sleet.
Yeah.
Well, he was a radio personality at first, right?
Yeah.
Was that the first gig he did?
Yeah, radio, and then he was he did a lot of kids stuff. He was the train conductor for, was it Thomas?
Oh, that's right. He's Thomas the Tank Engine, the conductor.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he did.
Holy shit! I completely, I put that one away. Like that's wild.
Wait, what? George
Right?
Carlin was on
Yes.
Thomas the Train Engine?
Yeah, the Tank Engine, but yeah.
The Tank Engine?
Yeah, he was the conductor.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That just blew my mind. Because I was actually trying to think about the first time I ever even remember like noticing George Carlin, and I hate to say it, but I think it's in the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where he
really?
blows the truckers. I was 12 when that movie came out. Like,
Oh.
so what?
Yeah, no, he...
Don't blame me, blame society.
He was just, he started as just a crazy funny man, and then as he got older, he got bitter, and that came out in his comedy quite a bit, where he just started thrashing and trashing society and everything in it.
He really does. He talks about everything. Were you ever a fan of his stand-up or anything?
I'm 50-50 on this, because I definitely understand why he's one of the greats and why he finds himself in like a lot of people's top 10 or 5. But he's just, for me, I know that he's one of the greats, but he's just not one of my favorites. I don't know. But it's because I just don't like really ranty stuff usually. I like more jokey jokes stuff. I don't know.
And his earlier stuff was jokey joke.
Yeah.
And
that's, I'm learning a lot by listening to this right now.
I have a great story about Carlin because he had this very, kind of clean, just fun-loving persona, that when he had come to Utah and they were promoting him as being basically a clean show. This was before people really. This is because he had been a very, he was the Thomas the Tank Engine guy.
Right.
And he was a hippy dippy weatherman, and he was just a funny dude.
Sure.
And so that's how they had promoted the show, thinking that's how we'll get people into seats. Well, when they bring him out, the first thing out of his mouth, he says, "Pussy farts." Now, there's something we don't talk about enough.
Oh, my God.
Half the audience got up and left.
Wow.
He is talking about a medical issue, though. I mean,
Yes,
can
he
we
is.
all just be adults for 5 seconds? Wow, the balls, pussy farts.
Yeah.
Not even like a hi, hello. My name is George.
It was literally first words out of his mouth.
Wow.
Well, when did he start comedy? Does anyone actually know that? I was trying to look it up.
I would say in the late 50s, early 60s.
He was born in 1937, I'm finding that out. But the first fact is what they really list about him is his 7 dirty words comedy routine, which was central to the 1978 U.S. Supreme Court case, FCC versus Pacifica Foundation.
Yeah.
In which a 5-4 decision affirmed the government's power to regulate indecent material on the public airwaves. That took all my reading capabilities right now. Holy shit.
You are sweating.
But, well, that's the first thing they list, but I know he was doing comedy well before that.
Yeah.
Years active. Okay, 1956 to 2008. Holy shit. So he did stand-up, what is that, 52 years?
Yeah.
Wow. And I thought he did 18 specials in that time, like hours, albums. It says 14 specials, but I think it was 18 albums included because he said he had done a few albums before his last special.
Yeah.
Sorry, they really jumbled this Wikipedia together. But I'm excited too because the Supreme Court case, the 7 Dirty Words, that's on this album that we're going to be listening to. Do you guys know what that is?
I love how big Miles is smiling right now.
I mean, if you were to list the Mount Rushmore of comedy bits,
Yeah.
this would be right up there with Who's on First.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was such groundbreaking material, that in one that just being funny and two being just, perfect for the time period and what was going on, everything. I mean, this is one of the greatest comedy bits of all time, I think. In my opinion.
Well, it's a bit about censorship, and then they used it as sort of like a form of protest, and aired it, and he got arrested, right? Immediately.
Oh yeah, it
was bad. I'm not familiar. Miles is just nodding his head.
And I'm not a vulgar person. I'm not into dirty material, but if it really put the whole controversy about if we're truly free as a people, if we truly have the ability to say whatever we want to say, this is where he went. He blew it out of the water and said, no, we aren't. We don't have that right. We think we have that right, but we don't. The government actually has more control than we allowed it, than it was supposed to have. And that's why this is so important.
Yeah. He finished what Lenny Bruce died in a bathtub doing,
Yeah.
No, for real. Lenny Bruce died in court cases.
Yeah, and I really think that Carlin kind of picked up Lenny Bruce's mantle. He really picked up the torch and went on with it.
Yeah, as far as free speech goes, I think that's why Carlin and Pryor, too, get held at, the highest of, because they went as far as, trusting your instincts and also just talking about whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets it.
Yes, he does. Well, let's start the album. Let's do it.
Let's dive right in. This is George Carlin's Class Clown, and I fucked it up. We got this.
I still love the pop and cracks of an album, though.
People always want to know how you get started on this job. I guess they ask musicians, too. And actors and everything, but they always want to know how you get started. They say, how do you get started? Say to you, did you always want to be a comedian? Well, not in the womb, but right after that, yes. But Class Clown is when you really do get a chance to kind of work out, because the classroom is the best place. The classroom is best because no one's allowed to laugh there. And suppressed laughter, is the easiest to get, the most fun. Like when you're kneeling in front of a casket. During the sermon, whatever it is. And in the classroom, Class Clown always sounds like there was only one of them, It sounds like the class clown, but that's not true, really. There was, quite often there were 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Sometimes you have a whole classroom full of them, man. If the main guy was absent, second banana would fill in, right? And the class clown wasn't really so unique. He didn't necessarily do things that were real different. He learned things first. He discovered things first and passed them on to the other guys, right? Class Clown was the first to discover a lot of musical things. He was the first one to get into Hawaiian nose humming, right? Well, if you're going to play, you know. And then playing head. You had to be a little mazzo for that anyway. You know? That and throat.
I love how this just turned into like a Michael Winslow like set out of nowhere. I love that he just opened up with like a concept and like no introduction. Like he's just going for it already, just like balls deep on like not like the concept of the whole album, honestly.
Jumps right in.
Yeah, he just jumps right into it. I really dig this.
I love that he's just saying the name of the album so many times, though. Like in a movie, when you wait patiently for them to say the name of the movie. I was actually just Googling what movie does it the most, because he's doing it the most in this album, but I couldn't get an answer fast enough.
What movie says the title of
the
it?
movie the most, yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting fact.
Right?
Keep working on that.
Yeah,
all right, yeah.
R&D over here.
Found out later in life the beard acts as a mute for soft passages. Well, anyway.
It's on vinyl, too.
Class Clown was the first guy to discover this, usually in gym class, right? Yeah, the old artificial fart under the arm. Or as we called it in New York, the artificial fart under the arm! There were a lot of ways to make the fart sound when you were a kid. Let me hit this one too. And then the crook of your arm.
I mean, this is probably the best thing I've ever heard in my life. He is just straight up making fart noises to what I'm assuming is an auditorium. Where was this recorded? Does anyone know? I'm gonna go back to this. But...
I was so glad when I found out that had a real official name to it, man. Trox Cheer and Raspberry never made it for me.
He's at a Catholic school in New York. The Corpus Christi in New York.
Do one from the back. It would probably be an SBD today, man. Remember that? Silent but deadly. Wow.
All right. While he pauses, what's the movie that has it the most?
Okay, well, the answer is a bit underwhelming. It's called a title drop when they say it, and they do say that it's assumed that movies like Lassie and Rocky would have a leg up on all other movies because it's the name of the main character. But in the documentary film Fuck, the word fuck is used 857 times, and that's the highest documented title drop count. So, masterpiece.
Boo.
We had Carlos Mencia at the club one time.
I'm so sorry.
Well, many times. And the first time, and he goes forever. He goes for several
he's
hours.
infamous for that. I've heard he does 3 or 4
at
hours every time.
Yeah, several hours of other people.
Not including his openers.
Yeah. Well, now, if you took out the F word, he would probably only do about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Yo, same though.
But because we had a guy, the second time he came, we were laughing about how many times he dropped the F bomb.
Yeah.
That a dude in the back started counting. He stopped counting at 983. He was only 86 minutes in.
That's nuts.
Only 86 minutes in.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I do find myself sometimes saying fuck too much on stage, but it's usually when like I messed up and then I'm trying to recover and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh no, he drops it everywhere. I mean, verb, noun, adjective, exclamation. He used it for everything. He had one time where he was like singing it.
Oh my god.
He was doing a whole. whole thing.
What is Carlos Mencia doing for 4 hours, by the way, too? She had no idea about, like, the Joe Rogan call-out. I just showed her that video, like, a month ago. I was like, really? You never saw Joe Rogan go on stage and call him out for being the biggest hack of all time?
If you have no conscience,
Yeah.
and you just started, and you're just going for as long as you can, and you just start doing everybody's material you can think of, you could go for probably quite a long time.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
I heard
But-
Robin Williams used to do that because he would just start riffing and then he would realize it as he was saying it and he'd go to the comedian and apologize hey, I'm so sorry I said it.
Yeah, in fact, he's there were comics who would not perform if Robin Williams was in the room.
Wow.
And he has.
I already paid a lot of people
Yeah, he paid a lot
afterwards.
of people. Carlos Mencia never did. Carlos Mencia stole jokes from me. For crying out loud.
What?
Well, I have jokes.
Talk about it right now.
Okay. So I wrote a bunch of jokes that I use when I hate the audience. And it's all.
That's called my set, but all right.
But it's jokes about wiping my butt. Because everybody had been doing fart jokes, like Carlin. And so I just thought I'm going to just do a whole bunch of jokes about wiping my butt, and I would only use them if I hated the audience. Well, I was opening for Carlos Mencia one time, and I hated the audience. They were really just rowdy and obnoxious. So I started doing my butt wiping jokes. And it killed, which made me hate them even more. So then I bring up Carlos, and he does his thing. Well, he comes back about 6 months later, sold out crowd. This is back when he was
No
really
fucking way.
And I didn't do my butt wiping jokes, but it brought him up 5 minutes in, almost verbatim. He did 3 of my jokes.
About butt wiping?
Butt wiping.
Well, you
and
know you'd
bathroom
been
jokes.
doing it for
Oh my god! And he
6
came
months
back
between,
to where
I'm
you
sure.
were and was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
"What's
he
up?"
stole so much
Yeah,
he forgets
probably
where he steals it from.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! You gotta write that
everybody
down.
who knows
Like, oh, I
me,
can't
who was
do these.
there, is looking at me going, "Did you sell him those jokes?" I'm going, "No." And I'm kind of pissed because I'm like, if you're going to steal my material, at least steal my good stuff.
I know. Oh my god!
But yeah, it was bizarre.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah,
I gotta go see him sometime. He's probably coming to a Funny Bone near me.
he probably will be.
He's still around at those McDonald's huts, right?
Yeah, he's still out there doing it.
Oh, let's get back to fart noises.
Attempted to fool around, man. Get someone's, that's what it was, yeah. You'd be bored and you'd figure, well, why not deprive someone else of their education? And you would set about disrupting the class by attracting attention to yourself. That is the name of this job, It's called Dig Me. Yeah, it was like, hey guys, didn't make the team, but... Say, hey, he's crazy, man. Hey, you want to go to a party? Yeah, you went to all the parties. Got the last girl, but you went to all the parties. When I would try to attract attention in class, I wasn't really like a very daring and bold youth. I was a little timid, really. I didn't get right into fake epileptic seizures in the aisle, Start out and test the water a little bit. I used to start with little sounds like...
I used to
That's a
kick
good one,
my
'cause
desk.
No one can really see where it's coming from, You can even look around like you don't know, right? That's, of course, the pigeon. You recognize the pigeon. That was my only bird call. Because that was our only bird, That's from a real New York part of New York, We had pigeons and sparrows. That's sparrows. Sparrows, though, you could never pin a sparrow, They would leave too fast. You try to go over to a sparrow. Pigeons would walk out of your way and give you a bad look, right? Poor pigeons, man. Their song song is stuck in their throat, you know? That's what living in the city does, man. Sticks your song in your throat. I'm sure when the pigeons first got to the city, they had a nice song, man. A few years in the city. And then that little oil slick we laid on them, you've seen that oil slick on their neck. I'm sure we gave them that. Hey, geez. I had one sound that was my own. Not completely my own, I stole it from the Spike Jones record. None of the other guys could do that one. I added a little something to it. No one really cared, you know. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Well, yeah, he was probably like a weird little spaz if he was just making little gibberish noises.
Yeah.
I'd be like, get him out of here. I totally would.
I like the
yeah.
switchback though, like to the disheartened adult. Like,
Yeah, get him out of here.
yeah, he's doing a good job. Going back and forth.
Yeah, he's very good. Well, he's like always been like just like so like just good. Like I remember like once I like realized I liked him. I think one of the first like bits of his I ever saw was the Modern Man bit. Mm-hmm. Which is like a 7-minute like just dialogue where it's like a poem almost. It like rhymes. It's just like how he's like a modern man. I don't know. We'll have to load up a clip of it or something. But it was like it's like you know he's gonna get an applause break no matter what just because he memorized all those words.
Sure.
Honestly, it's like
Yeah.
one of those. But it's also like a great bit too. But it's just like he's just the best at that shit. Like I can't even say like 3 sentences in a row without stuttering. Like I don't understand it.
What?
I know. That's why I yell.
So
Popping the cheek, which everyone had to do. Just to be a kid, you had to be able to do that, right? Well, it was part of the credentials. Can he pop his cheek? Okay, he's a kid, let him in. Go on. Let me hear all of you do that. I love when a whole auditorium does it. Everybody do it. Like that, just pop it. Now do it without giving in to the temptation to laugh. Everybody do it without laughing. But we take that for granted, you know. We think it's so simple.
I can't do it like that. I have to do
You
it.
say to yourself, well, I think I'll
I
put my
can't, yeah.
finger in my cheek and pop it.
Huh?
It's not that easy, man. There's a lot of things to
Fuck.
think about. You got
I'm outta here, yo.
to put in there for one, right? You can't do it like that, really. You have to judge the amount of finger. You have to know how much air pressure against the cheek, how much cheek pressure against the air, and when to release.
This is
You
bullshit.
see old guys in the park. Can't get it up.
Like I'm getting heckled.
That's the first thing that goes on a class clown
Fuck.
is cheeks, man. They never did it through microphones for the class clowns. That would have been a big help.
This is upsetting.
But you had ones like this.
what is that? This is how I find out.
I can do it pretty good, but I have such
Remember
bad
this
cotton
old
mouth
men always
for
used to do
so
this
many
too.
reasons.
Remember your grandfather would always do that. Hey, come here. My specialty was knuckle cracking. I was into it on kind of an esoteric level, really. For instance, I could crack all 28 knuckles, you know. 28 plus, actually. Only 28 are officially recognized by the Knuckle Institute. You aficionados know that down at the ends of the fingers you have a lot of multiples and repeaters, and if you wake up and think about it first thing in the morning, you can do 50 or more of them, man.
I love we're all doing it under the
Little
table
more
right
knuckle
now,
lore
just
for
cracking
you.
our knuckles.
The smaller the knuckle, the higher the pitch. Something we just don't stop to think about, you know? For instance, this last knuckle on the pinky is the highest pitched knuckle. You'll hear it now.
That's arthritis, dog.
see if I can go for the double on the other pinky. I don't often get two doubles in performance. I'd like to try. And that was down a little lower than it should have been. That's a higher pitched and much more gentle knuckle usually. Let's give the right one on the end of the pinky a chance. Let's see if the other one's in there too. Two doubles. It's far out. Yeah. The best reason for cracking your knuckles was to make the girls sick. I mean, that's all you wanted to do when you were 9 or 10, was make the girls sick. If you could get Margaret Mary to throw up on her desk in the morning, you knew it would be a good day. If you picked the most squeamish girl, right, Margaret Mary was susceptible to the knuckles. Hey, Margaret Mary! Remember that feeling like wiping off snot? Somebody else's.
Let's pause it for a second. I think it all holds up so far. I think all these jokes are still pretty amazing.
Yeah, you could.
They
still
stand
do,
the test of time.
You could do this set and it would still work.
Yeah, like
It
what
probably
year was
work
this?
even better now.
So this was recorded in 1972. Fuck yeah.
I agree that it might work better now too, because he's talking about being a kid the way that people actually think about being a kid. Like the way kids are now is not the way when people are talking about childhood. That is not at all what they're talking about. You know. So
we didn't have iPads when we were kids. What?
You know, this is just like
by the way, that is the number
kid
one
stuff.
thing requested by kids.
Sled.
iPads.
Oh,
Sleds. How beautiful was that moment? A nice toboggan.
iPad.
Rosebud. Yes, one Citizen Kane joke.
I see.
Can't talk.
Rosebud. That was a Sims joke to me. I was like, "Ha!
Oh, hell yeah.
Big dreams, baby."
Semicolon exclamation
Build
mark.
me a
That was our
mansion
childhood.
for my sleds.
Yeah. Let's delete the doors and see what happens. I forgot what we were talking about.
iPads. Kids.
iPads is the most number one thing.
Yep.
Wow.
I had
Well, to
60
put that in the
kids came
context,
through. And
you're a
they were-
Santa.
Oh, I'm a professional Santa. now.
Professional Santa Claus.
I can say I've been
Hell yeah.
paid to be a Santa.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And
That's awesome.
of the 60 kids that came through, at least 7 of them asked for iPads. That was the number one thing.
Did any of them deserve one? Be honest.
One of the girls, I think, deserved to have
Yeah.
the iPad. The other ones were like, okay, come on. You need
Yeah.
to step up your game.
Yeah.
Step your game up.
Those numbers sound about right. That's an honest ratio.
Yeah.
Probably get one for like $100 at Sprint to see if you have an upgrade or something.
Like I do.
You take off the Santa outfit, you got a Sprint outfit. Like,
Yeah,
let's
it's
just see. Like, what's your number?
Well,
I want to see your ID too, actually.
I
it's
think I think I can accommodate you, but we do need a 3-year contract.
Do you want insurance? I'm gonna have to insist you get insurance.
We're gonna have to get insurance.
And the iPad outer box that I just invented. I think. I don't know. Yeah, but I think like these jokes really do like these are pretty timeless so far. He's crushing too, making
Yes, he is.
silly noises.
Yeah.
This is what we consider the greatest comedian.
He got the entire audience popping.
That was amazing. It sounded like a bubble bath. It did.
Sounded like
It
loud
did.
ass
Nobody
band.
really likes your bodily fluids, you know?
Yep.
That's true, unless
I
you
don't
keep it to
bath
yourself.
quietly.
You don't want them. Really, think of it. Any fluids or semi-fluids that you secrete or excrete or whatever, people don't want to hear it, you know? Earwax, blood, sweat, get it out of here, man. Sometimes they'll take your blood if they're in trouble, you know. Otherwise, keep things inside. People want you to keep things inside. Anything you could do disgusting was good for class clown. Her Ernest Cruz could turn his upper eyelids inside out, right? Remember those guys? Wow. Even I would go, don't do that, Ernest. You look like the devil, man. John Pigman could belch at will. Not just the ordinary belch. I mean, we all learned to swallow a little air, you know, and do the fraternity burp. But John Pigman was an artist, man. He would save air for like half an hour, man. You'd see him over in the corner. Hey, John. No, man. Oh, and when he would finally let go,
That is you. You are a disgusting burper.
I have the ability.
It
like,
needs
I can
to
just
be
suck
known.
in like so much air and then just make like the craziest ones happen.
Do you think you can rifle one off?
I mean, yeah, but am I going to on camera? No.
Stick your head like
No.
5 feet that way, and we'll dub it in.
I
I just wanted you to burp, but like 5 feet that way. All right, whatever. I just wanted you to show off a little bit. Are you good at burping? I'm okay if I have a little bit of soda, but like I'm not like a champion like you.
do
You
it
are
on call.
you are disgusting. It's pretty great.
Thank you.
All right, if you want to do
Endearing.
it,
It's endearing.
it's one of the many reasons why I love you so much.
It's one of my more endearing qualities.
oh, ladies would puke for blocks around. He would talk when he burped. Remember those guys? How do you do? He'd try to go through the whole alphabet on one burp, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W. Sometimes John would be in the movie theater, and you didn't know he was there. And then you found out, man. If anybody on the screen opened their mouth without saying anything, John would provide the dialogue. Hey, John's here, man. Class clown used to save his best stuff for lunchtime when you were drinking your milk. And he'd try to make the milk come out your nose. Carlin, you bastard, I'll get you, man. It was even better with 7-Up or root beer, you know?
See?
Get all those bubbles up in their sinuses, you know? One time, Michael Davey passed an entire cheese sandwich through his mouth. Sister Annunziata thought it was a miracle, you know? Come with me, mister. And don't talk to the other boys and girls. Yeah, you're not allowed to talk to anyone right after a miracle, you know? You have to wait and be debriefed by a priest, right? Dun, dun, dun. Remember that? Do you still do that? Dun, dun, dun. Don't lose that, man.
This has been a lot of onomatopoeia.
Remember when you were a kid on a hot day, nobody was around, nothing to do? Dun, dun, dun. I'll still do it, man. I push the button in the elevator. Dun, dun. Watch the numerals going up. Yeah, otherwise that's all wasted time, you know? Elevators, nothing to do in the elevator except not look at the other guy. Huh? Stare at your shoes.
fart.
I play spy at the airport. Do you ever do that? I believe in using that kind of time. It's wasted time. Play spy at the airport. Especially a big airport. You know there's a spy at the airport, man. Your job? Find him.
I heard this bit like when I was like a kid. Now that I'm realizing it, this is blowing my
I'll
mind.
share this with you. I'll share a swallow of water with you. Why not, man? No one ever shares a swallow with you. It's a kind of a personal sound.
What? That was the dopest sound I've ever heard. It sounded like poop, yo. What? It sounded just like it. I don't know how to rewind this, but that was crazy.
The second half is the best part of the swallow, you know? There are two parts. A lot of people don't realize two parts to the swallow. The first one, that kind of bubbly sound, is when you pour something in your mouth, your throat closes up. Because your throat doesn't trust your mouth, man. Your throat knows your mouth is crazy and will do anything. So your throat is kind of a monitor, and you pour something in your mouth, your throat says, hold on, let's check that stuff out. And the brain goes, looks okay to me, let it go. Listen again for the two parts, and especially that second one, which is kind of like going home. The whole revolution is about values. Values of any kind, you know? What you'll do for $10, what you'll do with $10. Really, it all comes down to values, what you value and how much. And I often think of that, because you can buy anything in this country. The businessmen are the ones that really, kind of got the country where it is in both ways, in the positive and the negative, man. They did, the businessmen. Because there's no morality in business. Just a ledger. Keep it in the black. Show a profit. Keep it in the black. Keep it in the black. Never mind your soul. Never mind the landscape. Never mind the other guy. Keep it in the black. Keep it in the black. Do what you can. Keep it in the black. Business as usual going on. Big plywood up there. Business as usual. Businessman did it. That's right. You can buy anything in this country, man. Anything you can think of. You can probably buy a left nostril inhaler if you look around. With your state motto on it. Glows in the dark, anything, man. If you nail together two things that have never been nailed together before, some schmuck will buy it from you, man. Yeah, give me $1.50 for that.
This is in 1972. Amazon didn't even exist yet. They didn't even go through the eBay bullshit decade. That is crazy how on the nose this is.
Yeah, well,
not only timeless, it's more so now, like what we were saying before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We all have Wish ads on Facebook. Whew,
Yeah.
you can get literally anything.
Yeah, for $2.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys ever order sea monkeys?
Oh my gosh, I remember
You know
sea
what I'm talking
monkeys, but
about.
I didn't order them.
I know what they are, but I never got them.
But
though.
yeah, you would have the back of magazines would just be all these ads of just literally the weirdest things ever.
Yeah.
And it was you'd be sea monkeys and how to build a flying saucer out of a vacuum cleaner kit, all kinds of weird stuff. So,
I want that now. How do you do that? You go to space in a vacuum?
Yeah, when you fill out the slip by hand and mail it in,
Yep.
then they would mail
you'd
you.
fill it up and
Yeah.
send a check.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the
With
SAISY.
your
Are you
account
familiar
routing
with the
number
SAISY?
right on it.
I can't even imagine just mailing a check now.
Yep.
No way. I'd rather Venmo a stranger right now than mail a check. Ugh.
So you'd mail a check, and then you'd also have to send another envelope if you wanted a receipt.
Oh, right, the return envelope.
Yeah, the SAISY.
No!
Self-addressed stamped envelope.
Yep.
SAISY.
Yep.
I'm
the self-addressed
outraged.
one. I remember that. I still know the address for Zoom. by heart.
Oh, I had Zoom, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to at least remember the 02134. Everyone knows that at least, if nothing else.
I'm such a nerd. I don't even want to say it. I got Nickelodeon magazine.
Oh, hell
Remember
yeah.
those commercials? I want my Nickelodeon magazine. I was like, yep, I do.
Where this microphone came
ripped it.
from. I got it from Nickelodeon magazine.
You're gonna get slimed at the end of the show. Actually, one of us is. Whoever's the least funny, probably me.
Probably me.
All right, I think we're almost done with side one, so he's getting into some heavy shit though.
Values. I often think of that when I go past the novelty store. You know, the novelty store, tricks, jokes, fun, fool your friends. They sell the dribble glass, joy buzzer, whoopee cushion, called poo-poo cushion in the larger towns. You put it down, hey, Phil farted! It's very big with the Shriners and American Legion are into those things. They're a little retentive anyway, I guess.
We did an album on it.
So why not let them have it? A lot of things for sale in that store. You know, they have a fly in an ice cube, snake matches, pepper gum, cigarette loads, big thumb with a lot of bruises on it. That's a great one. They also sell fake food, which really knocks me out. Got rubber hot dogs, plastic fried eggs. The ones I saw are made in Austria. Imagine that, imported plastic fried eggs. Wow. Plastic Swiss cheese. They have a little foam rubber sandwich with a bite missing from it. I often wonder how hungry people feel when they walk past, you know? Guys that don't have lunch money together, man. Going past the novelty store. Wow, that'd be salty. I'd be ready for a little trashing right away, you know? Start there. That's not the biggest insult. The biggest insult, however, is the fake vomit. Imagine that, artificial vomit. Wow. Some people can't scrape real vomit together, man. Guys are ordering 3 dozen vomit on the phone, man. I've seen a couple of different brand names on that. One of them is called Glop. The other one is Whoops. Isn't that great? Whoops. Tells you where to use it, too. They have little hints on the cardboard. It's stapled to a piece of cardboard, and it tells you where to use it. On the car seat. There's a good one. On the sidewalk, naturally. Bathroom floor, they suggest there. And then the one that knocks me out is near the refrigerator. It's so strange, because some grown person had to think of that. Some guy was at work one day, and he said, hey, Phil, I got another one. Near the refrigerator, huh? Beautiful, Charlie. Let me call the printer. Hey. Near the refrigerator. Wow, fake vomit.
Fake
Lenny
vomit.
Bruce once said the reason the artificial vomit sells is because the artificial dog crap sold so well. I grew up watching the dog crap
recently.
in the window, boy. I always thought, at first I thought a dog had gotten in the window and done it there, you know. It was always right next to the false teeth there that you wind up and let go, right? Oh, plaster Paris dog crap. Wow.
Teeth are weird.
Sure is strange. How do you ask for that, you know? What do you say to the guy? I'd like to see something in the dog crap, please. Well, what did you want to spend on that? Money's no object. It's for a very good friend. I rather fancy that beige number in the window. Well, that's not beige. That's champagne gold. It's our breed of the month, Bulldog. You buy a Bulldog, we throw in a Fox Terrier free. Oh. I imagine there would be collectors, you know, guys that had every breed. Hey, you got any Saint Bernard? Yes, but there's no room in the window for that. The Doberman Pinscher, you'd always know the authentic Doberman Pinscher would be the one with the little pieces of clothing and buttons in it, right? I'd like to include a card with that, please. Love to all, Dan. Put that on my Diners Club. Do you mind gift wrapping it for me? I don't know. Sure is strange.
I believe that is the end of side one.
All right. That was funny. Like, he made me remember, like, did you ever go to, like, a gag shop before?
Yeah.
Do you remember those? Do you know what that is? I remember being on a road trip. Like, I was young, and my dad saw one in, like, the middle of, like, I want to say Rhode Island. And it was called, like, Kip's Gag Shop. And I remember we went to it. It was, like, literally legit. Now that I think about it, it was somebody's house. And they had, like, a little store, and there were so many cats in there, yo. Like, it was overridden with cats. It smelled so bad, but it was, like, the fucking grossest place ever. But, like, I know I've seen other gag shops, so I'm just thinking about this awful place I went to.
Yeah.
That is an actual gag shop.
That's an actual, yeah, exactly. It was like if a hoarder was like, I'm gonna sell some of this goofy shit. Like, that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah, the first gag shop I ever went into was with my sister, and it was actually part gag shop, part head shop.
Yeah. Spencer's
store.
basically.
Yeah,
Right.
it was like one of those. So, and I didn't understand the head shop part
Yeah.
to the whole thing. So
You don't wanna buy a
you had
bong?
the whoopee cushions and the electric buzzers, and then a Laurel and Hardy bong.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't know why you would have a Laurel and Hardy bong or what a bong was for, but
That's just like
It's pretty
Spencer
interesting.
Gifts, but if the electric buzzer was a totally different kind of electric buzzer, but otherwise,
yeah, exactly.
same assortment, same accoutrement.
Well, that's when it was still like so taboo. Like you couldn't just be like just a head shop. Well, you couldn't just sell like glass
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
smoking products. Like
Right, it's
I remember,
something palatable.
Yeah, it was called gags and novelties. And
Yeah.
stuff like
Right.
that.
when I went with the head shop I used to go to in college, it was called the Snot Locker, and it was technically a futon store because they had one futon for sale, but you couldn't buy it because it was listed for like $10,000. But then everything else they sold was bongs and like dumb shit. But they were like, "We are a futon store, and you will respect us. We are the Snot Locker, and you cannot buy that futon." They are not in business anymore. But
Oh, that's funny.
that's like a gag shop, though. All right, so let's dive into side 2 of Class Clown.
I would take that.
Yeah. All right, let's. Hear that authentic snap, crackle, and pop.
I used to be Irish Catholic, now I'm an American, you grow.
Worth it.
That's
I was from one of those Irish neighborhoods in New York, from those kind of parish schools. Wasn't typical. It was Corpus Christi was the name of it. Could have been any Catholic church, right? Our Lady of Great Agony.
Maybe it wasn't recorded. It says it on here. Oh, it couldn't
St.
be
Rita
possible
Moreno.
without.
Our Lady of Perpetual Motion. What's the difference? The church part and the neighborhood part were typical, but the school was not. It wasn't one of those old-fashioned parish kind of prison schools with a lot of corporal punishment and systemary discipline with a steel ruler, right? You'd fall 2 years behind in penmanship, right? Well, he's behind in penmanship, Mrs. Carlin. I don't know why. Well, he's crippled. He's trying to learn to write with his left hand. We didn't have that. Somehow I got lucky, got into a school where the pastor was kind of into John Dewey and progressive education, and he talked the diocese rather, into experimenting in our parish with progressive education and whipping the religion on us anyway and see what would happen with the two of them there. And worked out kind of nice. There was a lot of classroom freedom. There was no, for instance, there were no grades or marks, no report cards to sweat out or any of that. There were no uniforms. There's no sexual segregation, boys and girls together. And the desks weren't all nailed down in a row, They were movable desks and you had new friends every month. It was nice. Like I say, a lot of classroom freedom. In fact, there was so much freedom that by 8th grade, many of us had lost the faith. Because they made questioners out of us. And they really didn't have any answers, They'd fall back on, well, it's a mystery. Oh, thank you, Father. Mystery? What's he talking about? Mystery. Part of Class Clown was being an imitator, as you probably noticed. But I used to imitate the priests, which was right on the verge of blasphemy, I could do them all rather well. I did Father Byrne the best. Father Byrne was the one who used to celebrate the children's mass. I always thought that was great, to celebrate mass. Yeah. Father Byrne did the children's mass, did the sermon every week. He used to do parables about Dusty and Buddy. Dusty was a Catholic, and Buddy was not. And Buddy was always trying to talk Dusty into having a hot dog on Friday. And I I could do Father Burns so well that I often wanted to do him in confession, you know? I wanted to get into Father Burns' confessional one Saturday, maybe a half hour before he showed up, and get in there and hear a few confessions, you know? Because I knew, according to my faith and religion, that if anyone came in there and really thought I was Father Byrne, and really wanted to be forgiven, and performed the penance I had assigned, they would have been forgiven, man. Because that's what they taught us. It's what's in your mind that counts. Your intentions. That's how we'll judge you, what you want to do. Mortal sin had to be a grievous offense, sufficient reflection, and full consent of the will. You had to wanna. In fact, wanna was a sin all by itself. Thou shalt not wanna. If you woke up in the morning and you said, I'm going down to 42nd Street and commit a mortal sin, save your car fare. You did it, man. Absolutely. It was a sin for you to want to feel up Ellen. It was a sin for you to plan to feel up Ellen. It was a sin for you to figure out a place to feel up Ellen. It was a sin to take Ellen to the place to feel her up. It was a sin to try to feel her up. And it was a sin to feel her up. There was 6 sins in one field, man. But confession had there was another aspect to confession for me. Our neighborhood was right between Columbia University and Harlem, Juilliard School of Music, Panstomb, 2 seminaries, Jewish Theological and Union Theological Seminary. I said Harlem was there. And then to the north, a Puerto Rican and Cuban section. And as Puerto Ricans began to move into our neighborhood, the diocese, in a rare display of tokenism in the early 50s, sent one Spanish priest, Father Rivera, to hear Spanish confessions. And all the Irish guys that were heavily into puberty would go to confession to Father Rivera. Because he didn't seem to understand the sins, you know? Or at least he didn't take them personally, you know? It wasn't an affront to him. There was no big theological harangue. He didn't chew you out. He was known as a light penance. In and out, 3 Hail Marys, you're back on the street with Father Rivera, man. Boom. Hey. You could see the line move. That's how fast he was working. But he wasn't ready for the way Irish boys were confessing at that time in that place.
Oh, bless me, Father, for I've sinned. I touched myself in an impure manner. I was impure, impurity and impureness. Thought, word, and deed, body, touch, impure, sex, dirty, impure, legs, impureness, touch, impure, dirty, body, sex, rub, and covet. Heavy on the covet, Father.
That's okay, man. 3 Ave Marias. Woo! You'd be home in 5 minutes, you know? The Irish priest, on the other hand, nice guy, but first of all, he recognized your voice because you'd grown up there, right? He knew everyone. What'd you do that for, George? Oh, God, he knows, you know? And the Irish priests were always heavily into penance and punishment, you know? They'd give you a couple of novenas to do, 9 First Fridays, 5 First Saturdays, Stations of the Cross, a trip to Lourdes. Wow. That was one of the things that bothered me a little about my religion, was that conflict between pain and pleasure, you know? Because they were always pushing for pain, and you were always pulling for pleasure, man. You know?
I get it.
There were other things that bothered me. Perhaps it's retrospect, you know. I'm seeing them better now. But I think I was troubled, too, at the time by the fact that my church would keep changing rules. I mean, they change a rule anytime they wanted. This law is eternal, except for this weekend. Special dispensation. Magic words. Yeah, like eating meat on Friday was definitely a sin. Except for the people in Philadelphia. They were #1 in the scrap iron drive. Yeah. They would give it away as a prize, you know. If your parish gave the most money to the Bishop's Relief Fund, hamburgers on Friday. Yeah. Well, and of course I've been gone a long time now. It's not even a sin anymore to eat meat on Friday. But I'll bet you there are still some guys in hell doing time on a meat wrap, right?
All this talk about meat's making me hungry. Right? No, this is like, I don't know, this has a lot of weight on with me, like, because I'm trying to think about that stuff. I was raised like hella Catholic. You know, like my grandma was a nun. Like, I'm not even joking. My grandma was a nun in New Mexico. She stopped being a nun and then like got married and had kids and like my mom and stuff. But she was still like super religious. And I didn't go to Catholic school, but I went to like CCD and all that stuff and had to be like involved with the church a lot. And this is all making a lot of sense. I remember like one of the first times I ate meat on a Friday because I was like, I don't care, like fuck it. I was like 15 and I was like, I'm so stoned, I need Burger King. I'm not going to survive. But still at like 15, I still remember thinking like, I don't know if I should. Like, that's pretty crazy.
I don't know if you'd be more or less of a heathen to order a fish sandwich from Burger King, honestly. Like, I don't know.
No, I was eating fries, watching all my high friends just eat everything, like all the chicken nuggets, and I'm like, I'm gonna get 5 double cheeseburgers, like right now.
That's funny.
Yep, that's all it took. Some BK.
Well, that's the only reason that McDonald's carries filet of fish is because of that requirement of Catholics. Did you know that?
My grandma
is so delicious. I love.
My grandma loves the filet of fish.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Big
specifically designed because they were losing sales on Fridays in predominantly Catholic neighborhoods. And so a guy came up with a filet of fish, and it was designed to capture the Friday Catholic market.
Wow.
I love McDonald's and their need to always just hustle everybody for like $3. They're like crackheads 24/7. Like, yo, you got $5? I'll give you a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
They get you hooked by making sure the milkshake machine's only available like every 11th visit. You know? Just keep coming back and you're like, oh, then I'll take the fucking cheeseburger.
Well, we were talking about this on our podcast. I think I want to ask Rodney, because you travel a lot for comedy. What's better, McDonald's or Burger King? What's your favorite fast food?
I prefer the Burger King burger. But
Okay.
I prefer McDonald's French fries. And if you're going to get a beverage, it's best to get it at McDonald's.
I agree with
because
that.
they keep the lines cold all the way through, so it's like
it's a metal keg of soda.
Yes, it's the perfect soda.
It's like they don't use the bags of syrup and the lines, that's what makes McDonald's special. Like they actually use like actual metal kegs. But Burger King recently got the Coca-Cola Freestyle, which I don't know if y'all fuck with the Freestyle, but
I do like that because I'm a big fan of the Mellow Yellow Zero.
See, me
Wow.
too. That and Powerade Zero, because like I can't get a good lemonade, until I get the Powerade Zero Lemon. Powerade Zero Lemon, proud sponsor. But no, see, I think McDonald's, like, Burger King has had items where I'm like, this is a superior item to an item on McDonald's menu. But I've never been like, I will murder someone for Burger King. But I will murder someone for McDonald's. A small amount of McDonald's.
I think McDonald's is better.
Like $4.
I didn't when I was a kid, but I do now as an adult.
No, I mean,
I love McDonald's.
I also, currently my favorite burger is Five Guys.
Oh, that is a good.
That is a good one.
They're the first, and then Wendy's.
Burger. Five Guys and then Wendy's.
I like Wendy's.
Wendy's is my favorite too.
Wendy's is dope,
and
but
then
they're
Burger
so
King.
overpriced.
McDonald's, I only eat at McDonald's if there really is nothing else.
Well, for us being on the
crave
keto
McDonald's
diet, McDonald's is the best way to go. Keto style.
Really?
Yeah,
So
because of the
cheap.
no bun. Yeah, it's dirt cheap. You're just because you just want the meat. At the end of the day,
and pro tip, if you order from a kiosk at McDonald's, like they have a bacon double cheeseburger and it's $3.76, but they have a double cheeseburger, add bacon for $2.86. So for 90 cents less on the kiosk, you can get your double cheeseburger with bacon. That's just a pro tip. That's a pro tip.
Because if you do it
You
in
heard it
person, they
here
won't let you
first.
pull it off. They won't let you do it.
Yeah.
Is that why?
Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is.
yeah, they made us use the kiosk, but then rang
Yeah.
everyone else up that got
Yeah, they
in line.
would
They're
not
like, "You
talk
guys
to
go use the
us."
kiosk. We're gonna help the actual.
Oh, because then you could pull that off.
I don't know
Is
what
that
they
why?
did. They just didn't like us. I
Oh,
don't
people
think.
in customer
okay.
service just notoriously hate Brian the second he walks into the building. It's
Really?
the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Employees
You got the look.
People
it's
so
fun-
nice to
it's
me.
They
funny
turn the
because-
respect
him.
factor off
You know-
of me. It's like, hello, hi, then me like,
You know,
what?
find-
What do you want at this Dollar Tree, you fucking piece of shit? Velcro wallet, have an ass motherfucker.
I find that
what they
interesting
say.
because the long hair and the beard for
Yeah.
me, I get more respect than I think I've ever gotten in my entire life.
Can we all just
And I
admit
look-
right now that
you're
there's a
Santa,
big
it's not fair, you're
difference in
magical.
deserved respect between your beards? I mean,
What? Because Rodney has a whimsical twinkle in his eye, and I look like I just woke up? Fuck
your
out of
mustache
here.
doesn't connect. You get no respect until this part touches this part.
Yeah.
Listen, I have the
Solid
Orlando
trail.
Bloom mustache that God gave me, all right? That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. That's the only way I look like Orlando Bloom.
You are only one step above just a soul patch. That's
Yeah. I'm coming to terms with a lot of shit in this episode, I'm realizing.
I'm just
So-
telling
so
you
do you
about
think-
yourself on the internet.
So do you think it's you just emanate I don't have cash, or is it
I don't command respect. That's what it
reeks
is.
Of his actual credit score. That's the thing. Like you look at me like,
Where did we talk about my credit score? Was I just on stage when I was talking about that?
Yeah.
I didn't know my credit score until I got not this cell phone, but the last one before that. The Sprint store had to check my credit score.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Wow, your credit score is 370." And I go, "Is that good?" And he goes, "No." And I was like, "I don't know."
it's because you don't exist on paper other than owing Sprint at that one moment. Like, he had like one delinquent bill
so
with
you
Sprint
had- oh,
and
okay.
one hospital bill he didn't pay. But otherwise, he's never
You don't pay
filed
for a
taxes
surgery
or
one
anything.
time and then no.
Yeah.
I just
Everyone gets upset for 7 years.
Yeah, I've been I have had a lot of under the table jobs and just being a comedian. You work with cash a lot. I have that joke about not having to do my taxes for 5 years is only a joke because it's many more years than that.
Yeah.
I haven't had to. I went to an H&R Block one time, like, should I do my taxes? Like, I haven't done my taxes in, like, a lot of years, and I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble. And they were like, how much money did you make this year? And I showed them, and once they were done laughing, how little it was, they were like, you don't have
pretty
to.
much. If you're under 15,000, there's really no reason to,
Right.
because you're going to get it all back.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what they said, but way ruder. Well, I don't know what it is about the cashiers because they're usually not doing much better than me.
Well, no, I have a friend who is 56 years old who has never filed taxes
God bless.
What a
because all the jobs he's ever had have been under the table.
That's the way
Yeah,
to do
He's
it.
only had a few jobs where he's actually been an employee,
Yeah.
but he only did it for the flight benefits, and he gave away all of his hours, so he never actually made money at the
See-
job. He worked like twice a year just to keep his benefits for flights.
That's brilliant, though.
Yeah.
My
and-
biological dad did that to not pay child support. And he owes my
Genius.
mom a lot of money.
Well,
Some might
this
say
guy has no
18
children.
years worth twice over because 2 kids.
Yeah, my friend has no children in the world.
God
I
bless.
thank him every day for that. It's best. He's
It's
a wonderful
smart,
guy,
though.
but it's best.
It is smart though to like
That's why
be
I
able
never
to work
introduced
under the
taxes.
table because like when you were at the liquor store, it was like 98% of the money you would make would not be in a check form; it would just be cash out of the door.
I would get a check
Brilliant.
every 2 weeks for $184 on the books.
Yeah.
That was what I brought to get my taxes done, and they were like,
So he was
So
he
far.
was paying you as a very, very part-time employee, but you were actually a full-time employee.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want to declare you as a full-time employee because then that opens a whole different
Right, he
thing.
doesn't-
well, when I said I wanted to go on the books to have some sort of record for like a check, he said, and I quote, "Thank God, because we technically don't have anyone at the books at this store." So at one of the stores I worked at, I was the only legal employee for a long time
Yeah.
until
Oh,
Jimmy
wow.
Blair came there. God bless Jimmy Blair. Thank you.
To be fair, the other employees, one was completely blind
He drank himself blind,
Yeah.
but if
at
you
the
want-
liquor store.
I worked at this liquor
diabetic?
store for 5 years. I wrote a book about it. I have books. If you guys want one, I will sell
They're
books.
so
We
after
need to
this.
do a
funny.
reading of your book.
It's so good. He
I would
does
love
do
to.
that.
I do them sometimes. I would love to do that. That'd be fun.
It's so fun. You
fun.
just, it's one of those things where you can open to any page. It's just like a script, like a snippet of him talking to a customer. And it is like,
Yeah.
Now, is it dialogue or is it like written in a first person?
Both. So it's like it reads like a script, a lot of it, but then I like dive into it more, like because they.
Well, I want to do this. We need to recreate. We need to do an audio version of your book.
Oh man,
You do your part. I'll do all the other characters.
I'm
so down,
excited to hear
and I
this.
can really tell you like how these people talk too. Like
Yeah, you're
I've been
gonna
so
have to say
scared.
a lot of words you don't normally say, but
Yeah,
all of them.
but it's for the theater.
If it's for art.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is art in its most raw form.
I actually remember when you used to do the dramatic readings. You did one of mine, and you even wrote. He used to take people's Facebook statuses and do like dramatic readings of them. And I had one about like something about my mom, and it had the word shit in it. And you wrote like, "This is the first one I'm ever gonna like." You said crap instead.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, Rodney, what the fuck?"
It's because my mother watches these.
Yeah. Well, it was a cute one. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I think it was that.
I need to do those again.
Yeah, it was an old joke of
Those are
mine.
fun.
I don't remember what it was. That my mom used to spit on a kerchief and like wipe my cheek
Oh,
off. And,
yeah.
and then one time I spit on the ground and it almost hit her shoe and she like smacked me. It was like because she was like, we have the same germs, but not when I spit on her. I can't do the joke. You know who's funnier than me? George Carlin.
I had a beef jerky, right?
He's baby.
We're talking about meat.
I swallowed my hair, but you took the words right out of my mouth.
Comedy for a beef jerky.
Joke.
Yeah, because hell wasn't no 5 to 10, you know. Hell was later. Heaven, hell, purgatory, and limbo. Those were the 4 big places to go. Yeah. Heaven was the only one they showed you pictures of. Drawings, I assume they were drawings, huh? Artist's conception of heaven. You'd find that sometimes you'd find that in Treasure Chest, the comic book with Chuck White, the Catholic comic book. Yeah, Chuck White fan. Yeah, occasionally you'd see a picture of heaven. Heaven was always a lot of yellow and white light, a lot of vertical lines. A lot of clouds, might have been clouds, might have been apartment buildings, you weren't really sure, you know. And a lot of tall angels. Did you ever notice that? Except for the cherubs, all the angels, real tall dudes, yeah. And all blonde. They had far too many blondes in heaven as far as I was concerned. Yeah. Hell, they never showed you any pictures of hell. Hell was real easy to understand. Hell was fire, and anyone can dig fire, right? Yeah. Hey, hell was like burning 100 Christmas trees and jumping right in the middle, you know?
Who says that?
Purgatory was temporary hell. It was like it was as bad as hell, but you knew you were going home, man. Often wondered if they had like short tuck little buttons. I'm short, 2 eons, man. Yeah. I could do an eon standing on my head, man. Purgatory. The weirdest of all was limbo. Limbo was where they sent unbaptized babies. The reasoning was it wasn't their fault. Yep. Can't see God if you're not baptized, but you were too young to make the decision. Whip them into limbo. Ooh. What could limbo have been? Welcome to limbo. I think they've since canceled limbo. I'm not completely sure, but I think when they purged a few of the saints, they called off limbo too.
I heard that. I thought that too. They got rid of
Hope
limbo.
they promoted everyone, sent them to heaven. You know.
Can you do that? How do you just get rid of something? They just denounced it?
Well, the Pope,
Yeah.
to my understanding, has absolute authority over changing whatever he wants to, because it's considered that it's coming directly from God if it's through the Pope. So he can make that declaration,
Popes be wild,
and
yo.
they can say that, well, it was a misinterpretation.
That's such a good word.
Because limbo really never is. It's not in the scriptures at all. It was.
Yeah, they made it up.
Yeah,
The
it
word
came along.
limbo is.
Well, the Catholic Church got to the point where they had to, where they basically stopped letting everybody read the Bible, and they just said, "Well, we'll tell you what it means. You just follow along and give us your money."
That's so good. Yeah. Put a
And
buck
so
in the
this is where they
basket.
kind of fit that. So they were in this
The Dark Ages?
They were in this weird thing where it's like you have to be baptized to go to heaven, but then you would have babies that died before they could get baptized, and so it's like, well, they're not really in hell. They're just sort of,
I feel like it was exactly.
It's like there's the ocean of fire,
you know,
but they're just on the beach, just looking
yeah,
at
they're
it.
just,
It's hot,
You know,
but
it's
like a
not-
sauna.
it's not horrible where they're at.
Yeah,
It's kind of gray.
But it's not hell, but it's
Yeah.
not,
yeah. It's
So,
heck.
yeah.
It's heck.
It's heck.
Oh my god. Oh man, but I think purgatory still exists though, right? Because
Yeah,
they wouldn't have
purgatory where
American
you
Horror
kinda,
Story.
You're in between. You're kind of on the fence. It's like, if things had gone a different way, you might have been okay.
Is that what ghosts
We'll work
are?
it out.
That's what a ghost is.
I think a lot of people believe that. Yeah,
You believe in ghosts?
I do, but I don't believe I'll ever. They never show up
Yeah.
when I'm there. I've gone on ghost hunts, and I've told them, I said, "You're not going to see a single thing. They're not going to show it. Ghosts hate me. They don't want anything to do with me."
We did a
I would
show
love to see a ghost.
at a haunted place. No ghost came. I know you are a true believer.
I am.
A true believer. In the,
But I've done. I used to work at Fort William Henry, and in the Lake George, Fort Ticonderoga area has. It's all battlefield and stuff.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Saratoga Springs, where the turning point of the Revolutionary War happened.
Sure.
So even in my old backyard, there was iodine bottles and musket balls and stuff.
Oh,
if
wow.
you dig, yeah. And so I definitely we had a little spirit box, that flipped stations very quickly, at crazy frequencies, and clear as day, especially at Fort William Henry. They did one of those ghost adventure shows there too, but they give tours of the old infirmary and stuff there. It's pretty crazy. They
I
give
did a
tours
show there too.
But yeah,
with her.
yeah, we did a couple.
We stayed
shows
there.
I used to
Fuck.
book that place. Yeah.
There's a hotel there.
But yeah, I worked there for years, and we would sneak around, and clear as day, the spirit box would be just people who did not know they were dead, and it was British and French people and Native American people, and clear as day, telling you who they were,
Bonjour.
things like that. It was really weird, and very, very evil, dark things. I'm gonna sound like a psychopath talking about this, but it's fine. I don't know. There was a gentleman's club downstairs, where, and this is not gentleman's club, here comes Diamond, but old school, where women just weren't allowed while the gentlemen were, just together.
More like a smoking
yeah.
parlor.
Yes, and it was, and kind of a speakeasy
Cigar
type of
clubs.
thing. Yeah, and there was a closet that they were holding wedding decor in, the resort that sat on top of it, all the centerpieces and stuff were there. And that closet used to be the washroom for that men only area or whatever, and we had a few women and one guy in there using the spirit box to try to see if anyone would come through, and they wouldn't say anything. And then finally, after 20 minutes, he was like, "How many people are in here?" Trying to get them to rattle things. He's like, "How many people are in here?" And then a voice comes through clear as day and just said, "Way too many." And then the door opened, and it was so cool. It was the coolest thing ever. But that was I worked there for years, and
shit
we
my
only
pants.
had a few. I worked there for almost. It was 8 years, and only a couple of times really cool things happened, but it was really dope. Fort William Henry, Google it. Worth a Google search.
I wish something spooky
Fort
happened
William
when I was
Henry,
there.
proud sponsor of I Can't.
Do you need to get away? Go to
I want to see a ghost. I would be delighted to encounter that experience, and I've never had it.
But
We
I
have a
heard-
ghost in our apartment, Ronald. He sucks.
Ron's the
He's
worst.
the worst ghost.
We do. We have a lame ghost. Yeah.
He just gets drafty. No, I don't know. I want to see one. I want to believe in the paranormal activity, but I think just me knocking over a cup is spooky. I'm like, how did that happen? It's just my fat leg.
I have this back road that I have to take off the freeway to my house. I want it to be haunted. There's even this really old house from the late 1700s that's right along that road.
Oh, it's gotta be.
It goes across a river.
Oh yeah, if there's a river.
Yeah, I'm
hello.
it's gotta be haunted. It's gotta be haunted. I slow down,
Yeah.
hoping, turn my light. Something. It's gotta be something.
You're like,
I feel
"There's
like
a
I need to start
well."
haunting it myself
Yeah.
because it needs to be haunted.
Make sure you die on the grounds. Be drag me, by any means necessary.
There you go.
Get me on the ground so I die here, because then you'll be eternal. You'll live in that
You
house
know what I
forever.
need to do is dress as Santa Claus and just go show up on that road every once in a while.
Just haunt
And I'll do a
that
book
house.
reading
Yeah.
with Santa. I want to go to I was just thinking about what you were saying, the Gentleman's Club. I just want to see a ghost in one of those Al Bundy no man shirts. That's what I was picturing the whole time. Too many. And just frump.
Just eating a big hoagie, just staying on his gut.
Love and marriage. Just being a grumpy ghost. Just Ed O'Neill. Oh, man.
Just cut them loose in space, right? You know. Once a week, Father Russell would come in for heavy mystery time. And you'd save all your weird questions for Father Russell. In fact, you'd make up strange questions. You'd take a whole week thinking up trick questions to Father Russell.
Hey, Father! Hey, if God is all powerful, can he make a rock so big that he himself can't lift it? We got it now!
Or else you'd take a very simple sin and surround it with the most bizarre circumstances you could imagine.
This was me,
Try
confession.
to, relieve the guilt in the sin. It would usually end up with the statement,
Would that then be a sin then, Father?
it was like here, this is an example. There was one sin, not receiving communion during Easter time. You had to perform your Easter duty. You had to receive once between Ash Wednesday and Pentecost Sunday. And if you didn't do it, it was a mortal sin. Providing, of course, you had said to yourself, hey, I'm not going to do it this year. And there weren't many mortal sins on that, but a lot of guys went to Venial City on Easter duty. And so you would ask the priest, you'd go,
Hey, Father! Hey,
remember guys would leave their hand up after they got called on, right? And the priest would say, what are you, the Statue of Liberty done?
Oh, sorry, Father. Anyways, Father, hey, suppose that you didn't make your Easter duty, and it's Pentecost Sunday, the last day, and you're on a ship at sea, and the chaplain goes into a coma. But you wanted to receive, and then it's Monday, too late. But then you cross the international date line.
Yes, I'm sure God will take that into account. Sit down, Lizzie. Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali. It's a nice musical name, Muhammad Ali. He's back at work again. He's being allowed to work once again, Muhammad Ali. He wasn't for a while, as you know. For about 3.5 years, they didn't let him work. Of course, he had an unusual job, beating people up.
Oh, we're talking about when he got arrested, right?
But it's one you're entitled to. Government didn't see it that way. Government wanted him to change jobs. Government wanted him to kill people. He said, no, that's where I draw the line. I'll beat him up.
Does everyone know what's happening right now? That Muhammad Ali went to jail because he wouldn't go to the Vietnam War.
Oh, I didn't know he was like a conscientious objector.
I wouldn't say that. He said a bunch of racist
I
shit
didn't
while he was
realize
saying
a big
it.
pacifist.
Well,
Like
his name was Cassius Clay. And
Right.
Yeah.
he became Muslim, and he objected to the war on religious grounds.
Right.
So he's a conscious religious objector.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't acknowledge it. The controversy was they wouldn't recognize it being a Muslim.
Oh.
They would if you were Seventh-day Adventist or Jehovah's Witness or something like that, but not as a Muslim. So that's why.
Gotcha. I did not know that. I knew all about like his name change and his conversion and everything, but I didn't know that was part of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I learned something. I feel like Chrissy Teigen, when she shouldn't be learning something, I learned
Don't even get me started.
Have you guys ever watched Chrissy Teigen watch sketch comedy and then think that she just learned something real?
What's the name of that?
best.
What's the name of that show?
Show Me the Funny, isn't
Have
it?
you watched Show Me the Funny?
No, I haven't.
You will fucking blow your brains out
It's
3
the
episodes
worst.
in. I've made it like 2 and I can't do it.
The 3 judges are Kenan Thompson, which is a great judge, Jeff Foxworthy, which is a great judge, and Chrissy Teigen, who sometimes tweets things that are sassy.
It's stand-up, sketch, and music comedy. It's like a group or whatever. They go out and you do your thing. You get like a few fucking minutes. But like anytime there's a sketch with like historical context, like they did a Lewis and Clark one where they're paddling and like Lewis is passive aggressive as fuck to Clark. That's all the sketch is. And she's like,
about
and
getting
I
splashed.
learned something. Like she takes it like it's a factoid.
And I was like, you know that he didn't actually splash him, right? Like you get the
I didn't know it was that rough.
Yeah, I learned something. Like, wow. Like it's
It's the worst. But it's
Yeah, it's terrible, but I love it.
I know Rodney's having an allergic reaction to it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
But it's really fun to watch her critique comedy and then watch Kenan Thompson and Jeff Foxworthy, who we all know and are pretty world-renowned comedians for both their craft. Just
Yeah.
watch her just talk about it, and they're just like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's so funny.
Those moments where you go, well, at least you're pretty on the outside.
It's real funny when Jeff Foxworthy tells like another stand-up that they're funny, because it's never true.
Yeah, and it's
He's
weird
like-
because Jeff Foxworthy is I mean master at branding and like really just like understands it just knows his voice through and through and is appreciated for it, and it's
Well,
unbelievable.
it's going
to
to be
blow
a
smoke
tough
up
position
people's
because
ass.
you're trying to be nice. Because you
Yeah.
know that if you say you're horrible, you need to stop comedy, that would destroy their career.
Yeah, it's
So
just,
you've got to,
hard.
I don't know. I've got people trying to get me to do America's Got Talent, but I auditioned once and I was like, never again.
Really?
It was insulting, to be honest with you.
really.
Oh, they make you jump through hoops just for like
Well,
90
yeah,
seconds.
I stood in line for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I mostly did it because I had a friend who was on radio in Utah, and so I would do a call in from the line. So it was just more of a radio gag of doing the audition, explaining, telling people what it was like.
Yeah,
And then, so you go through the whole thing, and when you finally get to where you're going to do the audition, it was like me and 3 other people, and it's this little 20-year-old girl sitting at a plastic table like this with a webcam set up on her laptop. She goes, "Okay, just come over here, and when I say go, say your name, and you can go as long as you want, but at 90 seconds I turn the camera off." And so, and you get there and you just kind of stare, and she goes, "Okay, go." And you go, "Rodney Norman," you do your bit, and then, halfway through your final punchline, she turns it on. "Thank you. We'll let you, if you get selected, we'll let you know. If you don't hear anything, then you were not selected. Next."
Yep.
wow.
And that's your audition. And it's
Wow.
like, wow, I could have just sent this in.
Yeah,
That's exactly
So-
what it was like when I did NBC was doing a stand-up like showcase thing, and it was like they were taking the line at the Cellar. The line started at 7 a.m. and they were going to take the first 100 comedians. And I slept in a car with multiple comics in the streets of New York City, and I got in line to like what was like ended up being like 600 fucking comedians. Like, it was crazy. And then there were so many, they're like, all right, we're gonna take the first 150 actually. And I was like 147, so I ended up getting in, and it was the same thing. The Comedy Cellar in New York, like 10 a.m. So I was in line still for all those hours, and it was just 4 NBC executives, and you had 90 seconds. And I bombed so fucking hard.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
guy after me just was listing the kind of soups he liked, and he crushed. That's it. That's show business.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Well, and I auditioned for Last Comic Standing when it first came out.
That's so awesome.
And I stood in line in Times Square, got there at 2 a.m, and I was in line. I was all the way, because it was at Caroline's, in Times Square area, and the line went all the way around the corner. So I'm in line, and they had people come along from the thing, and they got to about 50 people behind me, and they told those people, "You will not make it. Don't bother." Right? And so I'm thinking, okay, we're in there.
Yeah.
We're in there. So they had all these people. They had somebody standing there going, "Your line's done. You're not getting in. Don't waste your time." And so I'm thinking, okay, we're in. So if we're in, okay. At 5 o'clock, I was touching the door. I was the next person to go in to do the audition. And the door opened. I'm thinking, oh, they're going to let me in. And the guy says, "Hey, we want to thank everybody for being here. We appreciate you. Please watch the show this season. We're headed to Tampa. We'll see you there in 2 days if you want to audition then." Slammed the door, locked it, and that was it.
Love it.
wow.
Love it.
Yeah, that is soul
Yeah.
crushing.
Yes.
It's
I
finest.
love that, like, like the show business is how it's always like yes, yes, yes until it's no, and then they just say nothing to
Yeah.
you. They don't ever just say no, they just stop talking to you.
Yeah, it was just, and
Oh,
I'm
it's
literally
great.
right there, and he's yelling over me, "Hey, everybody, thanks for being here. See you in Tampa tomorrow."
gonna fly to Tampa. Getting a plane ticket.
What sucked was 3 people that I had brought with me all got in. I'm the guy who drove, and I did not get in.
They buy you lunch?
Yeah, they did buy me lunch.
That's nice.
They did take care of lunch, but
That's fucking rough, though. Did they get in?
no, none of them passed through that.
He's like, I brought.
Well, a lot of it, and you know,
Eliza
and the
Shaw.
thing you find out is that a lot of those lines is just part of the spectacle. Most of it, they have selected who there's going to go through before they even do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
They
everyone
might
with the
pick-
industry.
They might pick 1 or 2 people from those auditions. The rest of them, they've already know long before it ever goes on. So,
Yeah, they just want to find some, like, you know, some, like, weirdos or, like some, like, really bad, and then some, like, for, like, the
They want their
B-reel in the
William
beginning.
Hung.
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, especially, like, well, when Last Comic first came out, that was a reality show, too. Didn't they put them in a house, too?
Yeah.
In, like, the
Yeah.
first 2 seasons? Ugh.
Yeah.
Why?
Which is
That was
how
so
it-
stupid.
Which is how it. That's why Dat Fan won it.
Yeah.
Was because he became a sympathetic favorite because everybody was kind of ganging up on him because they knew he only had 15 minutes of material. He wasn't. He was just crazy dude, you know. And here are these really strong comics kind of ganged up on him.
Yeah.
And the way they edited it, they made Dat Fan look like the, you know, the underdog hero, and so he wins. But then they screwed themselves over because he couldn't do more than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And
it
the
was
15 minutes
terrible.
he had, he had burned up on the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So-
Ralphie May came in second, correct? And he made a career
Yeah,
out of
he did.
it. I'm pretty sure it was
I
Dat
think
Fan and Ralphie May.
Yeah, Dat Fan, Ralphie May. Yeah, and
That was
Ralphie.
season 1.
Ralphie was a strong comic. And he was already a headliner, so he really.
Yeah.
Him and Rich Voss and.
Yeah, I
there was
remember
one
Voss
other guy
being
that
on it.
really, They took off because they had actual material, so
Right.
it helped them. But yeah, Dat Fan, it destroyed him because he couldn't. He had nothing left.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into
Okay,
the
let's
final
go.
few bits of Class Clown.
The government said, well, if you won't kill them, we won't let you beat them up. Ah. It was a spiteful move, you know, all because he didn't want to go to Vietnam. And now, of course, we're leaving Vietnam. We're leaving through Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. It's the overland route. It's the long way out. You gotta go through China and Russia to get out that way. What are we gonna tell them, man? We'll only be here 6 weeks just looking for the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Well, maybe they'll go for it, you know. Of course, you have to remember why we're over there in the first place. Oh, yeah! It always comes to me. To free those people. So they can have industry. U.S. industry. Those are the middle 2 letters of the word industry. U.S. And that is our job around the world. Run in, free some people, and whip a little industry on them. Here's your industry. Cool it a while, will you? So they can enjoy the benefits of industry that we have come to enjoy. Oh, beautiful for smoggy skies, insecticided grain, for strip-mined mountains' majesty above the asphalt plain. America, America, man sheds his waste on me and hides the pines with billboard signs from sea to oily sea.
See, it always, stuff like that always gets an applause break no matter what.
Yeah.
You just have
And you have to remember the sexual side of Vietnam, which a lot of people don't notice. The Hearst newspapers notice it, of course. Yes, they're into sex on anything, and you check the wishing well or the sewing patterns, and there's a little something in there. But they're always afraid of pulling out. That's their big problem, you know? Pull out doesn't sound manly to me, Bill. I'd say leave it in there. Let's get the job done. Because that country, right? Yeah. And we have always been good at that, you must admit. We took care of the blacks, took care of the Indians. I consider the South just another minority that was screwed by the U.S. government. I have no prejudice against them. They got it too. We really gave the Indians a fast trip across the continent. You notice that? They were having a little cookout in Massachusetts. A bunch of boats came up, man. Hey, you mind moving over, guys? Bring in the stuff. Would you move over? Would you mind bringing the stuff, man? Would you move over? Man, bring in the stuff. Come on, man, move it over. Would you mind over 3 mountain ranges, 4 mountain ranges? Got them onto an offshore island, Alcatraz, right? Off the continent completely. They had to take the island to get it. Then we kicked them off there. I guess we're going to send them back where they came from. We bought the Bering Strait theory, right? Put them welfare people to work filling in the Bering Strait and charge them Indians $1 a head to go home. It's a good, sound business solution. I love words. I thank you for hearing my words. I want to say something about words that I think is important. I love, as I say, they're my work, they're my play, they're my passion. Words are all we have, really. We have thoughts, but thoughts are fluid, you know. And then we assign a word to a thought, and we're stuck with that word for that thought. So be careful with words. I like to think, the same words, that hurt can heal. It's a matter of how you pick them. There are some people that aren't into all the words. There are some people that would have you not use certain words.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there are 400,000 words in the English language, and there are 7 of them you can't say on television. What a ratio that is. 399,993 to 7. They must really be bad.
You should say.
They'd have to be outrageous.
For real.
To be separated from a group that large. All of you over here, you 7. Bad words. That's what they told us they were, remember? That's a bad word. No bad words, bad thoughts, bad intentions, and words. You know the 7, don't you, that you can't say on television? Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits, huh? Those are the heavy 7.
This is my
Those are the ones that'll infect your soul, curve your spine, and keep the country from winning the war. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Wow. And tits doesn't even belong on the list, you know? Yeah. It's such a friendly sounding word. Sounds like a nickname, right? Hey, tits, come here, man.
He's softly whispering it too, which is like blowing my mind.
It is, right.
He's been acting out the entire hour.
I know.
Sexist snack.
It's about time to get some screen time, though.
Tits. The new cheese tits. And corn tits and pizza tits and sesame tits, onion tits, tater tits.
Tater tits! It's the greatest!
Bet you can't eat just one. That's true, I usually switch off. But I mean,
This episode's definitely gonna be called Tater Tits.
Actually, none of the words belong on the list, but you can understand why some of them are there, and I'm not completely insensitive to people's feelings. You know, I can dig why some of those words got on the list. Like cocksucker and motherfucker, those are heavyweight words, you know. There's a lot going on there, man. Besides the literal translation and the emotional feeling, I mean, they're just busy words. There's a lot of syllables to contend with. And those K's, those are aggressive sounds. They jump out at you, man. It's like an assault on you, you know? So I can dig that. Now, we mentioned shit earlier, of course, and two of the other four-letter Anglo-Saxon words are piss and cunt, which go together, of course, but forget that. Little accidental humor after the... Piss and cunt. The reason that piss and cunt are on the list is that a long time ago, certain ladies said, those are the two I'm not going to say. I don't mind fucking shit, but P and C are out. P and C are out. Which led to such stupid sentences as, okay, you fuckers, I'm going to tinkle now.
I can't even look at you. But I'm watching you in the camera, so it's like, it doesn't matter.
And of course, the word fuck. The word fuck, I don't really, well, there's some more accidental humor. I don't really want to get into that now. Because I think it takes too long. But I do mean that. I mean, I think the word fuck is a very important word. It's the beginning of life, and yet it's a word we use to hurt one another quite often. And people much wiser than I have said, I'd rather have my son watch a film with two people making love than two people trying to kill one another. And I, of course, can agree. It's a great sentiment. I wish I knew who said it first, and I agree with that. But I'd like to take it a step further. I'd like to substitute the word fuck for the word kill in all those movie cliches we grew up with, right? Okay, Sheriff, we're gonna fuck you now. But we're gonna fuck you slow.
That sounds terrifying.
So maybe next year I'll have a whole fucking rap on that word. I hope so. There are two-way words. Those are the 7 you can never say on television. Under any circumstances, you just cannot say them. Ever, 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 not even clinically. You cannot weave them in on the panel with Doc and Ed and Johnny. I mean, it's just impossible. Forget those 7. They're out. But there are some two-way words. There's double-meaning words. Remember the ones you giggled at in 6th grade? And the cock crowed 3 times. Hey, the cock crowed 3 times. Hey, it's in the Bible. There are some two-way words, like it's okay for Kurt Gowdy to say, Roberto Clemente has 2 balls on him. But he can't say, I think he hurt his balls on that play, Tony, don't you? He's holding them. He must have hurt them, by God. And the other two-way word that goes with that one is prick. It's okay if it happens to your finger. Yes, you can prick your finger, but don't finger your prick. No, no.
That's one of the greatest flips. I love that. Oh. Yeah, that's like his style too. He like really became known for like shit like that too.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that the closing?
That's closer.
That's pretty close.
Don't-
How do you follow that?
You can prick your
He didn't even get the,
don't
like-
finger your prick. No, no.
Yeah, and then he doesn't even get the like standing O that I'm assuming he got after that.
Cuts
Yeah.
to black.
He really did like fade him out. They did it like a real like album. It's like fucking nice. But that's like the one thing with comedy is you have to do it live, but they still made it feel like a album. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say this is timeless.
Yeah, I don't think there was a single thing on there. A couple dated references,
Muhammad Ali.
But you still know what he's talking about. I think most people still know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or he's
we
referring
still
to.
somehow tied it into Last Comic Standing somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, it really, and I mean, it's just stuff. I mean, we don't have a draft for the wars going on right now, but it's stuff you could say even about the wars going on right
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
About
Oh, yeah,
how
you
people,
could just substitute Afghanistan for Vietnam.
yeah,
Same thing.
And everything holds up still.
yeah, I think it's timeless. Don't you, Kate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
You
changed a
want to
lot.
hop back in?
Miles Mortelli. Well, you came here to watch this.
Yeah.
You're a good person to actually help us end this too, Kate, and you can get in on this whenever you want to.
To be fair,
But
I'm not a good person.
but you said this is one of your favorite albums.
Yeah.
Or your favorite.
It's one of my favorite, like, including music. Comedy, it's probably my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 7 Words You Can't Say on Television was the first stand-up I ever heard. My mom played it for me, and I was just like, oh, like, it changed my life. Like, not even comedically, just who I am as a person.
How old were you when your mom played that for you?
I don't know. I must have been between like 9 and 12, somewhere in that range.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
With the word like cunt in it?
Oh yeah, and I just a couple weeks ago I was talking to her about this, and I was explaining that. I was like, the whole prick your finger, your prick, and she was like, prick means vagina, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, so she thought she was just showing you like, isn't it kind of silly? But it was like some like weird
Yeah, it
crazy
was
thing that like.
just today when I was telling her I was coming to this, she's like, I'm so sorry for playing that for you. I shouldn't have done that. I was like, no, it was great.
She corrupted you.
Yeah.
That's a great.
See, and it got me screen time.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I mean, this album's just like one of the like of many. Like he had so many, like just a huge body of work that speaks for itself. And he's like put down as like one of the greatest comedians of all time. Like George Carlin is like a like fucking timeless comedian, like hands down, I think.
Well, yeah, you can tell by. I mean, the keys to him are, one, his material very well written.
Yeah.
But also as a performer, I mean, just he uses every inch of his body in what he's doing. He's
his
got all
facial
the little
expressions.
nuances.
The voices and how he's able to do dialogue back and forth so seamlessly is really impressive.
Dialogue, or texture, just I mean, even though you don't physically see him, you can tell, you know what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. And then the audience
like
erupts.
Limbo.
Yeah.
I think we all saw that. I've never seen this captured, like on film, this particular album.
I don't think they did it.
But I can see it. Like, I don't know if they did it, or I don't know if someone has a recording of it. But you can tell what he was doing with his body. It's weird.
Yeah.
You definitely can.
And I just want to say, I know it was recorded live at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium.
Yes.
So I got
right
it right.
on the front there.
Yeah, right on the front. The last place I'd ever fucking look. I opened it up like an idiot.
For some reason, also makes an appearance on.
Yeah. Well, shit. I think we could put a nice little bow on this. This was a really good episode, you guys. And I liked all the little tangents we went on. I learned a lot about you early on in comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Rodney Norman, the professional Santa / wine waiter. I don't know. We both bonded over just waiting in long lines.
You go so far from waiting in the line to being the reason people wait in line.
Oh,
that's
listen to
really
you.
full circle in your career.
Hey, it doesn't matter if you've been doing comedy for 20 years or 10 years. We both ended up at the same record store show.
Yes, yes.
That's what's important.
I've been in comedy for 20 years, and I'm now making more money as a Santa. So that's how good my career's going.
Hell yeah. You got to get those kids those iPads, though.
Yes.
Takes a little bit out of the bottom line. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. This was another I Can't Comedy. How about a hand for Willimantic Records for letting us do this? 75 Bridge Street, Willimantic, Connecticut. Please check them out. They're open all the time. They have music, comedy here with me and Hamill to do it. You're off camera, but I'm trying to look at you. We do comedy here. We all, of course, do I Can't Comedy here once a month. We're going to be back next month, probably. No, we're gonna be back next month. Depending on schedules and stuff, but I don't know what album we're gonna do next. We voted on for this one. It was between Carlin and Joan Rivers, so maybe we're gonna have to do the Joan Rivers one next time.
Be a good one, Joan
But there's
Rivers.
a few I really want to do. I want to do Carlos Mencia, honestly.
We should.
Now
do
that we
Carlos
talked about it, maybe like a good Jeff Foxworthy. I don't know.
Jeff Foxworthy, Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Yeah, we got.
Rodney Dangerfield, I think would be a good one to do.
Yeah, we got to go perusing through
Don
Willimantic
Rickles.
Records.
We should do a Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Ooh.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, shit. Do you have any plugs? Where can people find you doing stand-up or being Santa?
Just RodneyNorman.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rodney Norman Comedian.
Hell yeah. You keep it real simple. I like
Yeah.
that. You got any plugs, Miles, I guess? You're on the show now.
Yeah,
you lip
sure.
sync.
Miles.mortality.comedy on Instagram. And what's that new thing?
What?
Something with videos? I don't know. It's like a Gen Z thing. TikTok.
You do TikTok?
I have not made a video yet. I'm just studying.
It's weird. We have one for, we have one for public access and show, and it's weird.
I have a friend's daughter, a friend of mine I know from years, from high school. His daughter is like a superstar on TikTok. She does all the different makeups, and she does the cosplay stuff, and she's huge on TikTok. And so I went on to watch her do TikTok, and next thing I know, I have a TikTok account. I don't know how it happened. It was like one of those things: sign up with Facebook or Gmail, and now I have a TikTok account, and I don't know what to do with it.
We have a Public Access and Chill TikTok account too.
We
yeah?
need to do something with it.
We'll do something with it. Maybe we'll put a clip of this on it. It'll be
we
real
go.
funny for the children.
That'll be awesome.
That'd be great. Well, you know what or app you really need to get on? It's Poop Map, y'all. Follow me and Ham on Poop Map, at Daddy Pork Chops, at Mama Dump. You don't need any other social media in your life. Follow Willimantic Records on all social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, and go to publicaccessandchill.com for all things Public Access and Chill. Thank you guys very much, and bye.